Now, Doug, Mike Scioscia, being a former catcher, always works with the catchers for long periods of time before games. And, of course, Chris Iannetta coming over from the Rockies this year. Really interesting to me when a National League guy comes to the American League. What are the biggest differences, do you think?
The pitching. All the pitching is new. And if you're a catcher, that is your deal. You have to know the pitching. So what does he have to adjust to? He's got to adjust to the pitching. Really helpful to have Mike Scioscia as the coach. He's a tough Philly kid. When Mike Scioscia went to block the plate, some guys do it with a foot, some guys will get a knee in there. Mike Scioscia pretty much lay on it as though he was trying to smother it. You had to go through his entire large Italian South Philly type body to get there. And it was a lot of work. A lot of guys didn't get there. So what does Iannetta have? He's got a very experienced all-star catcher as his manager.
That's right.
That's a huge bonus. And Iannetta is the bonus he has. He has a gun for an arm, and he is built like these large boulders we see in the background here. He's also a tough guy to get through to the plate. Quick arm, quick feet, really good presence behind the plate. I think that's going to be a big help.
It'll be huge. We had a chance to sit down with Chris Iannetta. Let's take a look. Chris, you have moved now from the National League to the American League. How does that work for you as a catcher?
You know, it's a little bit different. There's a little more teams to learn. You know, obviously I had a good feel for the National League, but the way interleague play is the last few years, you know, you get a chance to see a division every year. So I've pretty much run the course of every team. I think I've seen almost every one. So I got a little bit of a feel, but it'll grow over time throughout the season.
How long does it take you to get used to being with a new team kind of in the spring training process?
You know, it just constantly builds. You know, after a couple of days, you're kind of used to the routine. You're used to seeing the same faces. But, you know, after a few weeks, it gets a little more comfortable. And I'm sure, you know, throughout the course of the season, it's just going to keep getting more and more comfortable.
What's it been like working with Mike Scioscia?
It's been great. You know, he has a ton of knowledge. You know, obviously his playing career speaks for himself. And then, you know, his record as a manager and the reputation of all his teams as being hard-nosed and winning and bringing it every day. You know, just being able to tap into that wealth of knowledge has been great.
You know, you've got some pretty big names, of course, that have come into this clubhouse. What's it been like so far?
It's been awesome. You know, everyone knows how talented they are. They've all seen it, but, you know, I get to see them, you know, in the clubhouse, on the field, and they're all a great group of guys. You know, they're ultimately very humble and, you know, it seem like good guys to hang around with.
Yeah, I think they are pretty good guys to hang around with. How excited are you for opening day?
Very excited. You know, we come to spring training, you know, it's a process that you have to go through, but, you know, you all just want to, you know, turn the lights on and start.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we were kind of talking about some of the jokesters here in the clubhouse. Who's the biggest jokester so far?
So far, CJ kind of takes the cake. You know, he's, you know, left-handed pitcher. You know, they speak for themselves.
What is it with those left-handies anyway?
I don't know. He's a great guy. He keeps it loose. It's fun. You never know what he's going to say, and it's always something to make you laugh. So it's been awesome. I think he's going to be a great addition to this clubhouse.
Now, you know, Doug, last time we were here last year with the Angels, the big story, of course, was Kendrys Morales going to be able to play. And, you know, we get back to Angel Stadium in Anaheim, and, of course, it was more bad news. He had re-aggravated the injury. He wasn't going to play for a whole year. Of course, now we're asking the same question a year later. You know, will he be able to play again? And it looks good. It looks good.
The answer seems to be yes. We were talking to Mike Scioscia about that, and the answer seems to be yes. It's the ankle. The ankle is a tricky joint. People think about, oh, you roll an ankle, you tape it, it heals. Yeah. The ankle and the wrist, they have a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Right.
That's some complicated medical talk that I was just using there. We have some doctors in the family.
Very.
Whole bunch of stuff going on in the ankle and the wrist. Seriously, a lot of small joints, cartilage. When you damage severely a joint like that, the wrist or the ankle, you see it taking a while to come back. What Albert did when he hurt his wrist last year and coming back from that as quickly as he did was shocking.
Amazing.
And Morales is more typical. Unfortunately, it has taken him this long. Everyone says as long as he is durable enough from the knee down, he's going to be in good shape. He's hitting the ball. Just getting him around the bases, as they put it. Getting him around the bases is the only thing they worry about. And that's the only thing they're worried about.
Well, and like Mickey Hatcher said, he can hit. They're just not sure about getting him around the bases. So that's a good positive sign anyway, that he's on the mend and hopefully ready to go.
And that
it's going to be difficult for him, you know, wanting to play for so long now and wanting to prove himself. And he's a great hitter, and he's just had to wait it out.
Well, and it's going to be a little easier for him because he was a first baseman, and now they have another first baseman.
Yeah.
That's the American League. There's room to DH, and
exactly.
Albert could certainly use some days off to DH. His legs are not built for 162 game season. Everything else about him is his legs could use occasional day off. So we do that. We flip our DH position. We do Morales, Pujols,
Bobby Abreu.
Good spot for him too. That's a lot of. It's unusual to have a lot of depth at DH. You don't necessarily want to have a lot of depth at DH, which might mean you have a lot of guys who can hit but can't do a whole lot in the field. that's the position the Angels are in. They'll deal with it.
Not only that, but I think it's hugely important that the support that he has in that locker room, of course, one of them being Torrey Hunter, who's never without a loss of something to say, never boring, that's for sure. But, he knows how important it is to really pump guys up. Huge.
And chemistry is important in every sport. These guys, it's a long season, this 162-game season, and
That's
you're
right.
traveling in a lot of cities, you're at a lot of hotels and a lot of restaurants. Having someone who keeps everybody loose and is not a goof-off, it's not just a
who
clown,
works hard.
and is an all-star player. And
That's
Torrey
it.
Hunter has been one of the classics over the years, and his body of work is awesome.
It speaks for itself.
So he brings to bear a veteran presence, a fun presence, and a whole bunch of baseball skill. Great guy to have on the team, great glue to hold the pieces together.
And you know what? We're going to let him speak for himself. Let's take a look.
We're just, trying to get this chemistry together, camaraderie, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of that every day. Mike Sosa does a great job at the 9:30 meetings, and it's pretty comical.
What's it been like having the new guys kind of integrated? It doesn't matter if they're big names or small names. You talk about the chemistry. How long does that kind of take?
Well, you kind of use spring training, the 30 days, the 6 weeks or whatever, and you use spring training to kind of build that. You get the guys laughing, make them feel comfortable, make them feel at home. LaTroy, Jason Israelhausen, Pujols, CJ, and most of the guys, we try to make them feel at home. We talk to them. We don't let them sit down by themselves. If they're sitting in their locker for a long period of time, we'll go over there and say, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? How's life? How's your golf game? It sucks, huh?" Right. But we have different conversations like that and try to keep those guys involved.
So when you make adjustments throughout your career, is that something is it easier for a coach to look at you and see what you're maybe not doing right or wrong, or?
It's always better if, my eyes, I can't see anything. I'm
Right.
just doing it. But
Right.
it's always better when you have like a Bobby Abreu, Albert Pujols now, and,
Yeah.
and Mickey Hatcher. You got more than one eye on you. You have several eyes on you. So you can get bits and pieces from everybody, and you take what you like and try to work with it. And so it's always better when somebody else is watching you. And if you like what they're saying, you take it. If you don't, let it go out the other ear.
Okay, now who is the biggest jokester in the locker room?
Oh man, the biggest jokester in the locker room, it's probably Bobby or me or Vernon. I mean, we're pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're bad.
Like how bad? Like what are we talking
Like
about?
rated R bad.
Ooh,
It's
rated
not PG.
R.
I can't tell you everything. We're bad, but being politically correct when I'm talking to you, I smile. I'm so nice.
Always.
Behind closed doors, we're bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
That helps to build that camaraderie.
But good
though,
bad
right?
though.
Yeah.
We're good bad. Not bad as bad. Okay, we don't like these guys, but we're good bad. We make people laugh and different things like that. And it's PG, so
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Okay.
No, rated R.
How much fun are you guys having so far with all these fans and these sold out games here in spring training? How crazy is that?
This is crazy. I mean, this is what happens when you get guys like CJ and Pujols. They got Pujols. I guess you know him.
Is he good? Is he good?
I don't know. But
These National League guys, I mean,
yeah, I mean, this guy named Pujols, man. He brings everybody in, and I mean, it's sold out, standing room only, and during our batting practice,
I
the
thought
game.
they were all here to see you.
Maybe like 80% of those guys. But no, I mean, Pujols, he packs the house and standing room only, and you're talking about one of the best hitters of our time, and so I'm pretty sure everybody and their mama wants to come out to see him.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, definitely, man. He's a great guy.
Now, do you feel personally like when you have more pressure on you guys because you have a big name like that, or do you just feel maybe more relaxed?
I mean, you gotta have pressure. Pressure can bust a pipe, or pressure can make a precious diamond.
Right.
And it depends on who you are. And us being competitors and athletes, that's what we live off of. We want the pressure, and so we don't get caught up in. Too many guys get caught up in the pressure situation, because if you get caught up in that pressure situation, I don't think you'll be in the big leagues, because there's a lot of pressure in the minor leagues too, and trying to make it. And if you don't withstand the pressure, then I definitely think you won't make it to the major leagues. So if you're here, you like pressure.
Yeah. Is it fun for the minor leaguers to come over and see you guys, and vice versa? Watch them kind of growing up?
Yeah, definitely, man. Because I was that guy, you know,
Yeah.
the minor leaguer that came up and played in some spring training games, and it's always good to have, you know, like a guy like a Kirby Puckett or Dave Winfield, Paul Molitor, who came to me and just talked to me all the time, followed me around, and they told me to follow them around, and I was able to get all the information, watch those guys work the crowd, you know, work the vendor, work everybody, treat people the same, you know, and I really liked the way they did it for me, and I was able to watch those guys how they work hard and how they treated people, and it was like contagious. So that's what I do.
You know, I've interviewed a lot of ball players, but I don't think anyone holds a candle to Torrey Hunter.
There's
I love you,
precisely
Torrey.
one Torrey Hunter. That's
That's
it.
it,
That's the
just
limit.
one.
God put a limit on the Torrey Hunters. How many do we need? One. Do we need more than one? No, let's just stop right there.
He's amazing. He really is.
He's a lot of fun.
Now, we are here in Tempe Diablo Stadium. This game day, so music is on. People are walking around. Every game here has been sold out to spring training. It's so cool.
Well, it's a beautiful location. If you're anywhere near Arizona in
Yes.
the winter, which a lot of people do, people come for
They
golf.
come, yeah, absolutely.
People now come just for baseball and do
Yes.
golf as an add-on. Beautiful weather, beautiful location. So yeah, it's another sellout crowd here, and
It's
with good
perfect.
reason.
Now, Doug, I want to touch upon the pitching because, of course, the Angels they're stacked. C.J. Wilson, Dan Herron, we've got Irvin Santana, and, of course, Jared Weaver. Who is going to be the fifth starter? You have some insight into this.
I think the answer to that is Jerome Williams, and I am familiar with him from an independent league. I used to work with the
He's a back east guy.
Back East guy, Southern
Yes.
Maryland Blue Crabs, and he was with the Lancaster Barnstormers. In case you haven't heard of the Lancaster Barnstormers,
Hasn't everybody heard
well,
of that?
and that's the way we pronounce it in the East. I know you pronounce it Lancaster.
Lancaster.
You have a Lancaster out here.
We
you,
do.
You get beat up back in Philly if you say Lancaster. It's Lancaster out there, and it is weighs probably 30 miles west of Philadelphia. Lancaster Barnstormers is part of the Atlantic League. As part of his chipping his way back up to the major leagues, Jerome Williams has played in a few places, including Lancaster. I run across him there. He is a very popular player in the clubhouse. He's a big, strong kid.
He looks like a football player. He's big.
He does a lot of that locker room, a lot of
They're big
clubhouse.
guys.
They call it a locker room. It's clubhouse in baseball,
Yes.
but it looks like a locker room from football. Jerome Williams, big, strong kid. Right now, he's working through a little hamstring tweak. I believe he is the fifth starter. He's a right-hander, big, strong right-hander. I believe he will anchor the bottom of that. I think he is to be the number 5 starter in a rotation that is very good. They need bullpen
Amazing
help.
rotation.
They need bullpen help, and
They
maybe
do.
Jerome Williams will wind up in the bullpen. I prefer not. I think of him as being the number 5 starter.
Okay.
But they need some bullpen help. They need somebody to set up, and they need somebody to close. They had too many blown saves last year. Those are
Exactly.
devastating to a club. Devastating to have a lead and demoralizing. So I think Jerome Williams is the 5th starter. If not there, then in the bullpen. They need some strong people to do setup work and a really strong guy to close.
Well, and thinking about this too, maybe they get through the first half of the season and then they'll get help before the break. We'll see what happens from there.
A lot of teams do that. You
Yes.
see where you are. If you are a contender, and this team is very
They'll get help.
likely to be a contender. You
Absolutely.
go, where are our weak spots? We need maybe third base, it may be the bullpen, maybe a closer, a setup guy. Those are what I see they may need. Who knows? Maybe we'll all be pleasantly surprised. That's what
Yes.
I see them needing. Maybe they'll go out and fetch it, or maybe spring training will develop it right now.
And I might know somebody for third base just in case they need it. So.
David Wright, just a crazy
maybe.
guess.
Yeah,
For Maria
absolutely.
Sorreo, David Wright is always a good guess. Whatever the question might be, David Wright.
David
good
Wright
answer.
could be the answer. That's right. All right, that's all the time that we have. Thank you so much for joining us here in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. I'm Maria Sorreo. He's Doug Hughes, and we'll see you next year.
But we're excited at where we are, but we also understand where we want to get to. It takes a lot of work. We're waiting for some guys to maybe get back from being nicked up in the off season, or a guy like Kendra Morales trying to get back into his game from a serious injury. So right now things are moving the right direction, but we know there's a gap we need to close to be the team we can be.
Okay, and what kind of things are you working on to make that gap closer?
Well, I think you always look for depth in your starting rotation, and we're always searching for some guys that are going to help fill that up, some of your younger guys coming up.
Okay.
I think that on the offensive side, we have a chance to be as deep as any team we've seen
Of
here.
course.
So you're trying to get your defensive chemistry on the field right, your pitcher-catcher communication where it needs to be. So there's a lot of things that you need just to keep methodically pushing every day to reach your goal.
Hey, Kendrick, get in there. Não ter sapo.